I guess I should give a minor spoiler warning for Tower of God, season one. Um, I don't plan on going too much into the details of the show, but if you're one of those people who prefer to experience it completely fresh, then you might want to click off because I will be talking about specific elements and specific details from certain episodes.
私は塔を登るの。置いてくな。僕は死ぬまでついていく。祈ってて。私が生まれ変われるように。
So, Tower of God is a Crunchyroll original that first aired on April 1st, 2020. One of the few nice things that 2020 has given us, based on your opinion of the anime, but I digress. This anime is kind of unique in that it is actually an adaptation of a Korean webtoon that has been running weekly ever since 2010, and now, as of the time of recording this, has 3 seasons in total containing over 400 chapters of material. I will, however, be coming at this from the perspective of someone who has only seen the anime. I have not read the webtoon. I have no experience or real knowledge of the webtoon's fandom, so I pretty much went into this completely blind at the recommendation of a friend. And I can pretty confidently say that I think Tower of God is a decent start, but I honestly feel like I needed more from it. But now that I have you here, let's talk about it. The premise of the show is pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. There's this tower, people climb the tower, and upon reaching the top of the tower, you get whatever you want, basically. I don't really know what more to say from that. The anime only really loosely defines what the actual goal of climbing the tower is, other than it gives people what they want. And it's reflected within the characters as well. Pretty much everyone has a different and wholesomely unique reason for climbing the tower. There's a character that thinks that they're going to find meaning from their lives by climbing the tower. There's another character who thinks that they're going to find power to protect themselves and those around them by climbing the tower. And then there's a character who simply wants to see the sky because, fun fact, in this world, the sky that they can see from the tower is actually explained as being artificial. I say all that to say that the premise and overall meaning of this place is only very loosely defined within the story, as we have it so far. And the anime pretty much follows suit. We follow our main character, Bam, whose only goal is pretty much to find this girl named Rachel. And when I say his only goal, I legitimately mean his only goal. That is, at the end of the day, what Bam cares most about: returning back to Rachel. And this dynamic is a bit interesting because normally here they'd be childhood friends or star-crossed lovers or whatever, but Bam has this attachment to Rachel. As we, the audience, understand it, one day Bam woke up in a cave without any memories or previous knowledge of himself. And also, to our knowledge and understanding, Rachel was the first person he saw after he woke up. And they'd been together ever since, basically. So essentially all Bam knows is Rachel. So he's understandably a bit perturbed when she's yeeted away from him to go climb this tower. And what's an anime protagonist to do but follow her? So that's what he does. And the story pretty much unfolds how you would expect it from there. I don't know if this is something that's present in the webtoon as well as the anime, but the anime is extremely predictable. Bam takes the test in order to gain access to the next level of the tower. The test is difficult, most people fail, and for Bam it should be functionally impossible, but he passes through it anyway because of special shenanigans. It's your standard anime protag fare. We all expect it. We all know it's coming. But that doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing. As it's presented in the anime, I don't have a problem with Bam having something special about him that makes it so that he can pass these tests with more ease than others. It's not like he's able to Deus Ex his way out of all the situations he comes across. And the whole amnesia aspect of his character means that there may very well be a very good and legit reason for him to be quote-unquote special that'll get expanded upon if the anime continues, at least. I don't know, I haven't looked into that, but yeah, anyways, that's what we start with. That's our jumping off point for the rest of the story. Tower of God is what I would call a character study type of thing, I suppose, almost. It's definitely a character-focused story as it's presented in the anime. You don't even really get that many details of the world, and they only pop up randomly. The main focus of it all is really the ensemble cast of characters, and this is an ensemble-based story. Your main character is definitely Bam, and I want to say Kund to some extent as well, but you do get a lot of perspective and focus on these other characters as well. And I think that's what's really going to make or break your opinion of this anime. Your opinion of the characters. Tower of God may as well just be called Tournament Arc the show. And with standard Tournament Arc fare, there are loads and loads and loads of characters we see in the anime. Most of them are unimportant. It's also immediately obvious those that are important, and those that are important to whatever arc or subplot is currently going on, you will immediately begin focusing on them and get a very abrupt and vaguely detailed explanation of their motivations and the reason why they're climbing the tower. You may or may not get some more details about their backstory. This all happens only when they're relevant to the story, by the way. Otherwise, they're just kind of around. By the end of the first season of the anime, there is like a handful of 6 or 7 people that you could say with some confidence will go on to be very focal characters in the rest of the story. But then I looked at Tower of God's character TV trope page, and now I have the overwhelming suspicion that if there's a second season of this anime, the group of characters that seem important at the end of the first season will most definitely be tossed aside to introduce new and more important characters in the second season. All but, Kun or Rock, I suppose. And Dorsey's probably going to remain important too, now that I think about it. Her and Anak? Is her name Anak? The lizard girl. But anyways, yeah. The first season of the anime is, to my knowledge, an adaptation of the entire first part of Tower of God, which also, to my knowledge, is 70 plus chapters of material. And I can definitely tell when watching the anime that there are things that are missing. But that's always a problem you're going to run into when you want to adapt something from a webtoon, webcomic, or manga form to an anime form. You're not going to have as much room for the little details or the subtle details. At least not if you want to adapt the entire first part into one season. And the thing is, with Tower of God, it kind of makes everything we see in the anime feel kind of shallow, kind of surface level. Like there's a lack of details and world building and practical knowledge behind a lot of the things these characters are doing. Which is why I say that I believe your opinion on these characters will make or break your enjoyment of this show. For me personally, I enjoyed the most of them. They all remain fairly underdeveloped throughout the season. At least most of them do. There's like one or two that become relevant to some underexplained and very loosely defined subplot. And from that point on, they kind of get some character development, but it's mostly just focused on Bam and his teammates to some extent. And I would hazard in saying that that's a good thing. These characters don't have much to them on their own, but when they're all together, I find that the anime is very pleasant, very wholesome, very cute. You know, it's fun watching these characters interact with one another. I do enjoy the character dynamics we have here. And there's even some pretty fascinating and well thought out character work when it comes to the idea that these people are making friends with one another, even though the rules of the tower pretty much dictate that they will eventually become enemies and have to fight one another. It's pretty well done. There's also this little examination on jealousy and what it means to be special or powerful, and how people that are pushed to the brink of desperation can make pretty shitty decisions. So I came out of the anime really liking and appreciating the characters, and they kind of carried it for me. I'm gonna give special mention to Team Shibisu, you know, the tracksuit guy, Hatz, and oh my god, is her name Anak? I really think her name is Anak. Hold on, I'm gonna check. Yes, okay, that's her name. Her name's Anak. Her name's Anak, guys. Alright, yes, them. I like them. I also like, sleepy guy, like him. I think his name is Laru. This test administrator guy here with the very interesting husky deep voice. I like him a lot too. Bam, Rock, and Kun are an absolute delight to watch together in this anime. I really enjoy what they've got going on. Rock is hilarious. I feel like I wish there was more than comic relief coming from him. Especially because I think they've got some real interesting potential with this guy, but it is what it is. This is what we got, so I'll take it. He's fine. I don't like Rachel. Like, not in the slightest bit. But this isn't an in-depth spoiler talk or anything, so we're just gonna leave it at that for now. Something I do like, other than the characters, is actually the tests that they take. That is one thing I have to hand it to Tower of God. These tests and trials are some of the most interesting things I've ever seen in modern anime. Like, who knew a game of tag could feel so intense and so strategic? Like, with absolutely no exaggeration or hyperbole at all. The characters and watching the characters take these tests is what carried this anime for me. I admittedly have little to no stake or interest in any of the story or subplots or little things that they've laid down here, and that's unfortunate, but these characters and the tests and games that they have to play are interesting, or they're interesting enough to hold me over until there comes a point where I actually am interested in the story. What else is there to talk about? The action sequences are good, they're fun, I enjoy them. The musical score fits perfectly whenever it pops in. I enjoy that a lot. Well done. I don't particularly care for the intro visuals, but the intro song is really good, as is the outro song. Well done, Stray Kids. Tone. This anime has quite the difficulty maintaining a consistent tone, and that's nothing new for anime, but it's jarring enough here that it pulled me out of some of the more serious moments of the narrative, so that's a thing. All in all, Tower of God is a good start in season 1, but that is all it is. It is a start. This entire anime season feels more like an extended intro to a narrative than a self-contained narrative in and of itself. That doesn't mean I think it's bad. It's definitely enjoyable. Like, I don't feel like my time was wasted watching it or anything, but you're not going to experience a fully realized and fully fleshed out story with just this one season. But you do get enough to build intrigue, I will say. It's a fun time. It's easy watching, easy viewing. If you're the type of person that likes watching characters just interact with each other, then you'll probably like it. If you like tournament arcs and animes, you'll probably like it. It's a decent start. And the way that it ends definitely gives the idea of there being a lot more to it eventually. If there's a season 2 on the horizon eventually, then I'll check it out. Otherwise, this was a good intro. This was a good start. Anyways, I liked it. Bam is a sun. Hatz is a sun. A lot of suns here. That's it.